Let's talk about conditional probability. Let's use the example of flipping a coin, making heads or tails of it. Suppose you flip two coins. What is the probability of the first coin landing heads, or, make that visible, the second coin landing tails up? Describe the events of the probability situation. So there are two events because there's two actions. So in the first one, the first event, it's the situation where the first coin lands heads up. The second event, separated by the or in that sentence, the second event is that the second coin lands tails up. And so what we're going to be working on in this lesson is, what does it mean for the or situation to happen? How many different arrangements could that happen? It's best if we actually think about constructing a probability table. This, in this case, is a sample space of all the possible outcomes. So the first coin landing heads and the second coin landing heads means our sample space would be described as HH. Or the first coin landing heads and the second coin landing tails would be described as HT. So complete the table. First is tails, second is heads. First is tails, second is tails. Now, honestly, there's only 4 outcomes that can happen. The sample space is of size 4 because when you flip 2 coins and they have a heads and a tails, 2 times 2 is 4. There's only 4 different arrangements that you can create the scenario. The more options there are, the larger the event sample space is, well, then things start to increase in terms of how many different variety options there are. Draw a circle around the outcomes that match the first event. First event, first coin lands heads up. There we go. There we go. Check. Next, draw a rectangle around the outcomes that match the second event. Second event, second coin lands tails up. We'll draw a rectangle. So second coin this one's double covered. It's covered by circles and rectangles. So if we start to do a tally of how many different options there are, sure, there's 2 circles in that table, and there's 2 rectangles in that table. 2 plus 2 makes 4. But only 3 boxes are actually boxes that fit the criteria for this scenario. So 2 times 2, take away the overlap. How can you describe the outcome that you drew both a circle and a rectangle around in the sample space? So if the first event says heads up and the second event says tails up, it could be the scenario where it's only, but this is both. So circle and rectangle is the situation or outcome where both events occurred. There's still only 3 possible situations or results from the sample space that fit this bill. So what we're going to be doing in these videos, in the conversation around or, is being aware of the times when in the sample space something is getting counted twice. And then we're going to take that as an option away from the total. Some questions for you. How can you rewrite this problem using probability notation? Probability of heads, probability of tails, the situation. Is this independent or dependent events? Independent means the first coin doesn't influence the flip of the second coin. This is independent events. Okay, I'm going to leave it with this one. I'm going to say page 804 is about the scenario of OR. And OR means add. But we can't just add up like 2 plus 2. We got to think about any overlap. So OR is also about overlap. See you in the next episode.